Right now, most players are completely misunderstanding the new infantry heroes in Call of Dragons, and if you invest into them the wrong way, you may actually make your account weaker instead of stronger. Because the paper Joren and Ellanir looks broken, but in real fights, this is where everything may actually change. Now, I have been playing Call of Dragons over 1000 days, I have tested many infantry, I have fought against maxed infantry players, I have been seeing how they perform in KVK, open field and garrison. And I'm telling you right now, those two heroes are not just new option, they're trying to redefine how infantry are working. And this matters because infantry is already one of the most misunderstood troop type in the game. You log in, you see whales running around with Kuma, Skogul, Goresh. You try to copy something and suddenly your march just disappear. So if you don't understand exactly what Joren and Ellanir actually do, not what their skills say, but what they do in fights, you're going to waste months of investment. So let's start with the most important thing. Those two new heroes are not just strong. They represent two completely different directions for infantry. Ellanir is scaling damage plus anti-stat hero. Joren is parry-based reactive burst tank. And if you don't understand what's the difference, you will build them wrong. Let's start with Ellanir, because at first glance this hero looks like pure value. You see extra damage every 3 stacks, extra counterattack triggers, stack buffs, and you think, okay, this is just another Skogul type counterattack hero. But here's the problem, Ellanir is not a counterattack hero. Ellanir is actually a hybrid scaling engine. Every 3 normal attacks you get bonus damage, every 3 counterattacks more damage, and then on top of that you're stacking skills damage bonuses. So what happened? Your damage ramps up over time. Imagine this, you're in open field, you engage someone, first 3-5 seconds nothing crazy are happening, then suddenly your damage spikes, that's Ellanir stacking. But here's the part nobody's talking about, if the fight ends too fast, Ellanir lose value. Now let's talk about 4-leaf mark system. Every normal attack 50% chance to stack. Each stack gives counterattack damage, skill damage. So you're scaling both sides. But here's the catch, is RNG. Sometimes you stack fast, sometimes you don't, and in Call of Dragons consistent matter more than peaks, because fights are chaotic, you get swarmed, you reposition, you disengage, so Ellanir can feel insane or completely average. Now this is where Ellanir become dangerous. 25% defense and ignore 25% from the enemy attack. This is huge because most players don't understand this, but this is not just tankiness, this is stat manipulation. Let's say you're fighting a high attack cavalry player. Normally you get melted, but with Ellanir you're reducing their attack and boost your defense. That flip the matchup. But here's the problem, this doesn't help against burst damage from skill heavy heroes. So if you fight something like high skill damage setup, match AoE burst, Ellanir doesn't fully protect you. Now garrison, this is where Ellanir quietly become insane. Extra HP, debuff removal every 5 seconds. This is huge because in garrison fights, debuffs are everything. You're defending your city, enemy stack debuffs. Normally you slowly lose, but Ellanir keeps cleansing and suddenly you survive longer than expected. Not the awakening. Now the awakening, every trigger 3% skill damage, stack up 10 times, that's 20%. This is where everything changed. Because this is the moment most players misunderstand. Ellanir is not strong instantly. She becomes strong over time, and this changes how you should see infantry completely. Now let's talk about the Joren, because this hero is completely opposite. Ellanir skills Joren explodes. Joren is built around one mechanic, parry, and not just survivability, damage scaling through getting hit. You activate Rage for 3 seconds, massive parry chance, taking hits increase damage, and then boom, huge AoE damage. You go into a big fight, multiple enemies is hitting you. Instead of dying, you're charging your damage. This is insane in KvK. But here's the problem, if nobody hits you, Joren lose a value. So now positioning become everything. You want to be targeted, but not too much. Too many enemies, you die. Too few enemies, no damage. Perfect balance, insane value. Now let's talk about the stacking. More skill damage, more counter-attack damage, more buffs when attacked. This hero rewards chaos. You've been seeing this. You jump into the fight, you think I'm dead, but then your hero survives and deletes 3 marches. That's Joren. 20% HP, defense bonus, parry damage return. This make him extremely durable. But again, no healing, no sustain. If fights drag too long, he falls off. And here's where the awakening is game changer. He gives higher parry, more targets, more damage. Now he become a real threat. Now let's compare, because this is where things get interesting. Against Garwood is going to give you sustain plus healing. Ellanir, scaling damage, Joren, burst tank. Against Skogul, consistent counter-attack, Ellanir, scaling hybrid, and Joren, sustain burst. Against Goresh is AoE attacks, Joren, reactive burst, Goresh is more consistent. Against Kuma HP drain plus sustain, Joren no sustain, Ellanir scaling. Kuma still dominate in survivability. Against Lei Kuan is HP scaling plus AoE, Ellanir stat control, Joren burst. Now for the meta shift, we have to make more tests with the new heroes. Now before or till these days, we was having Goresh with Kuma, which is having crazy sustain and counter attack. Now we're going to have a scaling, Ellanir, and burst reaction, which is going to be Joren. Definitely need some tests on the battlefield. My honest opinion from the first look, Ellanir is the better long-term investment. More flexible, better scaling, more consistent value. Joren is more fun but more risky. But in reality, most players will most likely build Joren and use him wrong because they don't position correctly. So if you take one thing from this video, Ellanir is equal to consistent and scaling. Joren is chaos and burst. And if you go that far in this video, congratulations, thank you very much. And don't forget to hit one like on the video, also subscribe for more Call of Dragons videos. I wish you a great day. Here I'm going to put some other video that can be interesting for you. I wish you a great day and see you in the next video.